Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I'll be doing the Fremantle vs Richmond game, going through who went well, who didn't go so well. So before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. That button, I keep on missing the hotkey. Jackson 119, and this is what I was worried about because I could have gone Jackson, Neil, and Warner or something like that, and basically banked 400 points. But in the end, I've banked somewhere close to around about 280 or so, somewhere close to that, as Jackson, and then I would have had Neil as well, which would have got me, I would have been around that 350 point mark, but in the end I got around 100, 193 plus 80 is, 193 plus 80 is 270, so I got 272 in the end rather than about 350, and I wasted my captaincy. So Jackson was huge, just worried about Darcy coming back next week, and that's the reason why I didn't go for him. Sarong 113, absolutely huge from him, and he was the better pick over Brayshaw this week. Brayshaw got to 100, 13 point last quarter is pretty pathetic, but 36 in the third, he looked like he got going, but just didn't get the marks and the tackles really. If we look at here, I think he ended up with 2 marks and like 5 tackles. Nope. He ended up with 3 and 3, which just isn't like him. We see here even these games 4 and 7, 0 and 11, 3 and 10. So his marks were sort of what he usually gets, but his tackles were way down, 3 or 4 tackles down from his average, and that's where you get that 116 burst. And also he didn't have the sort of disposals that you really get when he goes huge. So yeah. And when he goes huge, he usually gets the marks, etc. as well. So hopefully next week he has the Giants. Hopefully he goes huge then, and then the Bombers. So, I mean, he is in there for the long term, and hopefully he goes 110 for the rest of the season to hopefully do something. But disappointing this week. Johnson is going to be a huge cash gen. Even with O'Meara coming back, I still think that Johnson is better in that role. As Coda has gone ridiculous, as someone seems to be looking at our big trash day, and that's why it's he's gone ridiculous. So Johnson 93, break even of 14. Little disappointing in the last quarter, but 2 30-point quarters. I'm hoping that they pick Johnson over O'Meara for that role. Yes, they will both be in the team, but I'm hoping Johnson gets that role, as they seem to be on a run here. They did lose to Richmond, but I think they're pretty safe and secure, and I think they can a little bit experiment a little bit. They've got GWS. They should win that game. They should beat Essendon. They probably should compete against Western Bulldogs. That'll be an interesting contest, and it'll probably depend on how these two go into the lead-up of that game. Carlton, they should beat. Collingwood, that'll be an interesting game, and then the Swans, they should sweep that. Etc. So I think he probably will be out of my time and out of my side quickly, but if he keeps on putting up 90s, there's no point getting rid of him, and I can just keep him honestly and let his cash ride up and really take advantage of that. 583, Tracy 82, Ryan 81, Young 79. Young had a horrific third quarter and first. And yeah, so it only cost me 2 points going to Ryan, but it was the real kicker was not going to Sinclair. I thought the tag for Sinclair would minimize his points, but it didn't. So that cost me 28 points in the end from that. But in the end, I lost 31 points from the having Taranto captaincy and Ryan over Young, but I'm not too worried. And then, yeah, so Young should still do well. Amos, 75, Schultz, O'Driscoll, Hughes, no one else really here to talk about. I mean, Sturt failed really as a rookie. To be honest, that's not really a score that you want. Then we move over to Richmond, and it was the 2 1-2-9s from Nank and Taranto that really bolstered their score. And yeah, got huge scores for them in this game. Nank was on 84 at halftime. Taranto was on 89 at halftime, slowed down in the third, which helped me a lot, as the gap at one point early in the third was, I want to say, like even at halftime, 51 to 81. It was 89, sorry. It was 38 points. It ballooned out to, I think, 44 points at one point. The gap between Taranto and Brayshaw, but Brayshaw steadily brought it down in the second half. It looks like 40 point to a 49 point second half, so reined it in by 9. and really could have reined it in a lot more, to be honest with you, if Brayshaw decided to turn up in the last quarter. If he'd had a 25 or 30 point quarter, that would have put him at 117 or something, 120, and it would have been like a 9-point gap, and it wouldn't have been too bad. Bolton 124, Vlastuin 117. Short kicked, I think, 3 goals and ended up a 103. So he isn't. Wouldn't say he's really an option. Cochin, Martin, Rioli, Prestia, Graham, Bolter, Ross, Revolt. These guys don't really matter, to be honest. Baker's role again is absolutely ruined. So if I'm looking at this and I'm really trying to pick out anyone, and I'm happy I got rid of Ryan, as he's going to drop another 20k or so, and I wouldn't have been able to trade him out this round, and there's still no rucks going forward, so I would have just lost 40k or so trying to get him out, and I would have probably traded Wilmot and missed out on his good scores as well. So I'm pretty happy about that, to be honest. So I'm moving forwards. So is there anyone really that no one else here really that I like here? So is there anyone really I'd recommend? If you really needed a ruckman, I would go for Nank, as he's gone pretty much hundreds every time he has suited up. Everyone pretty much has Taranto. Bolton, I think, could be a smoky, but again had a 59-point quarter here. I don't think he'll do that again. Something like 14 disposals or something. Vlastuin, a 117. Post-buy, you could look at him at 672k, but is averaging only like 80 this year. But I would really jump on Johnson, as that looks like a massive cash gen. Brayshaw, I think, will turn good, but a little bit disappointing. Sarong is certainly someone that you can look at. Jackson did make good cash gen this round, but with Darcy coming back, I wouldn't look at him, and I'd wait to see some good performances out of Young and Ryan to really look at them, as it was wet, so they weren't trying to kick it around the back. I hope they go back to kicking it around the back, as those two could go nuts and go 120 plus each, but doesn't look like they want to do that at the moment. So that's the video. Another short video, but had to get this out for you guys, as I don't want you guys to really miss the game too much, and I don't want to post these at like 5 p.m. or whatever. So that's the video, and I'll see you guys in another video. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.